What's up guys? Tredell here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Tredell. I'm based here in Los Angeles, California. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me and tuning in. I'm trying to do something different here on the channel because I guess if you guys have noticed, I'm starting to do less vlogs and more kind of just like ideas and things that I'm interested in. So a new series I'm going to start is basically breaking down books and things that I'm very passionate in. And I'm very into like metaphysics and spiritual kind of self-help books. I don't know if you guys have heard of like Eckhart Tolle or Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and like Oprah, a lot of her stuff from Super Soul Sunday and stuff like that. So I'm gonna start to find books such as this one that I'm very interested in and just kind of breaking them down and just talking about some of the interesting ideas in the hopes that one, I can help people out. You guys can get some information that's easy decipherable that you can apply to your life. And two, so that I can dig deeper into the information myself and learn more about it. With that said, the first book that I'm doing is The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. I love this book. I found this book at an Airbnb once and it was just there and I picked it up and I read it and I just like loved everything about it. Just as a preface, I'm very into meditation. I believe in the law of attraction and manifestation. I was talking to my sister earlier on the phone and I was telling her about the new video and like the stuff I want to do and she's just like, what is that? So I would highly recommend you guys look up the movie The Secret. It's on, I think you can probably find it on YouTube, but it's definitely on Netflix. And some of those things you kind of dig deep if you don't know about the law of attraction, manifestation, and things like that. But for people who are into it, who already studied it, this will be good for you. And if you're not, just pay attention to the video. Maybe you'll find something you like and then you can dig deeper later. So I'm gonna jump right into this because I want to keep it short and sweet. I'm gonna just talk about the intro in chapter 1 of this book. Then I'll probably come back for chapter 2 and 3 or more, depending on how things go. But I just don't want to make this a long, drawn-out video. This book is the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and then Deepak basically talks about his laws for achieving success in life. All right, so let's dive into the first chapter, chapter 1 of this book. And actually, I'll just give you a summary of the big ideas, basically, so you guys can kind of just walk away from this right now if you want to. Long story short, what he's saying, to attract more things into your life, you need to come from a clear place, and that clear place is going to be achieved by clearing your mind chatter, right? So meditating and taking the time to clear that noise. There's a big thing he's saying, basically, you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts and the person listening to the thoughts are different. You are the person that is listening to your thoughts. And I'll go deeper into that and what thoughts and things like that means. But he's like, the more and more you can quiet your thoughts, and when you can do that through meditation and then also through non-judgment, not judging everything that happens to you, you get a flat tire instead of just like getting upset and getting mad about the fact that you got this flat tire. You don't know what the universe has in store for you. This might have happened so that you didn't get to a really bad accident, or so that you can meet the love of your life who's going to be the person who's helping you fix a tire. You just don't know why things are happening. So that act of judging everything that happens is creating turmoil and more noise in your head. And what he's saying is the more and more time you take to get still and quiet that noise, the more powerful you are and the closer you are to your true self. And then into the field of all possibilities where you can manifest and attract whatever you want into your life. So he says, you know, by getting still and getting closer to your true self and in that field of all possibility, you'll get ideas, you'll get information, intuitive hits, intuition, and you can start to manifest things. So he says meditation, time in silence, non-judgment, not judging things, and also spending time in nature. It's like, you know, nature is basically the universe manifests everything, works as it's supposed to. You know, the tree is struggling to grow, it just grows. Like the more and more you can just appreciate beauty and just be still and present in this moment, you can move from a more and more powerful place. And from there, you can start to attract more and more things into your life. And that's just the first law, the law of pure potentiality, or the law of pure consciousness. So if you guys have heard someone who lives unconscious, right? If you're unconscious, you're kind of just going through life with your thoughts just running amok. You're just like, you wake up, you know, whatever happens, you're just reacting. You're not aware of your thoughts and things that are happening in your life. You're not even in control versus someone who is conscious and closer to pure consciousness, who is very, very clear about their intentions, why they're doing things, and clear about how they choose to react to things. That act of being more in control, more responsible for things that are happening in your life will allow you to create more of what you want and manifest anything you want, all of your desires in life. So I really, really, really believe in this stuff, and it's easier said than done. And I know a lot of people, you're like, oh, I'm too busy, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. I feel you, like we all are. Even for me, he recommends you meditating 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. I think right now I'm doing about 15 minutes in the morning, and if I can, I'm doing 15 at night. But even that for me has been a challenge, and it's just like my mind is constantly racing and running, this, and the third. But what I will say is that act of actually taking 10 or 15 minutes to just slow things down, like I personally found that I move from a clearer place, and I can actually think about things I need to do, or sometimes I'm getting intuitive ideas and things like that, versus just doing what I've always done. And they say that's a form of insanity to keep doing the same thing, expecting new results. So I like I said, so this is a book that I've read and listened to multiple times on audiobooks, and I really love it. I think there's some really great information here, and just guys, things to try. You can just try it out to see if it creates change in your life. And if it doesn't create change, it doesn't create change. But if you're looking for change and you don't really know how to get new things, or new money, or new opportunities, or new people, new relationships, it's sometimes good to try different things. And also, I'll dive deeper for people who want a deeper dive into this book, but that's just a general summary of what he's saying, at least in chapter 1, and then I can go further into the other laws later. It talks about the law of karma, the law of giving, law of intention. Like, there's just so many different laws. Well, there's 7 7 different laws he has, but it's really powerful stuff. Okay, so Deepak's first law is a law of pure potentiality, which also can be the law of pure consciousness. So that's the whole thing of being unconscious, right? It's like not being aware of your thoughts and letting your thoughts just run amok, and just you wake up, you get on Instagram, you get on Facebook, you take up a call, you're just constantly just like letting life do whatever it's going to do. And you might be trying to change things on your surface mind. You might be like, oh, I want more money, or I want better relationships, I want this, that, and the third. But you aren't doing the work to actually sit down with yourself, take a moment to just breathe and get into your pure self. And just for clarification, that is what meditation is. Just taking the time to sit there and observe your thoughts. You don't actually need to stop yourself from thinking while you're meditating. Like, say you set the timer for 15 minutes and close your eyes and just focus on your breathing. The act of just like witnessing your thoughts, but then as soon as your mind starts to take off, bringing yourself back to focusing on your breath, like then you'll start to be in more and more control of your mind. You can start to question, like, why am I thinking about that? Or why am I thinking about this? You know what I mean? And then start to choose new thoughts. Instead of you worrying about money, you can start to get excited about new opportunities coming. Or you being fearful of something, you can start to think about how great it'll be if things worked out the way you want them to work out. And that is what I mean by being in control of your thoughts, instead of just letting your thoughts or your brain do whatever it wants to do, taking that time to be in control. But the big thing here is you recognizing that you are not your thoughts. So, example, right? Say you were to close your eyes. And thoughts start to come into your head, right? Whatever you're thinking about, just like whatever starts to come into your head, that is not you. Like, all those thoughts are your fears, desires. Maybe it's a conversation you have with someone else, or the opinions of your parents, society telling you need to be a certain way. It's all the combination of all the information that you're constantly receiving each day and processing. The person, the self that is listening and observing those thoughts is you, right? You are the observer. You are the witnessing of your thoughts. And that's his whole point. His whole point is that that person that is witnessing your thoughts is you. That's your spirit. You know what I mean? So the 7 spiritual laws of success, he wants you to get in tune with that person and be in control and quiet all the noise, and then move from that place and then to try to be intentional about what you want. And this is like me having read the book and giving you a lot more than what you're about to get right now, but I'm just trying to find a way to explain it as easily as possible, if that makes sense. Okay, so what he's saying with the law of pure potentiality, which I think makes a lot of sense. The source of all creation is pure consciousness. Pure potentiality seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. So essentially he's saying that when you get into that like pure state where it's just yourself, that is the source of you tapping into the source of all creation. And that is part of manifestation, is just getting super in tune with, basically with yourself and with God, or with whatever you believe, the universe, and just getting in tune with that spirit. And that is where you can manifest. That is the source of all creation. That is how we have our power, long story short. So he says, when we realize that our true self is one of pure potentiality, we align the power that manifests everything in the universe. He says pure consciousness is pure potentiality. It is a field of all possibilities and infinite creativity. The experience of the self, or self-referral, means that our internal reference point is our own spirit, and not the objects of our experience. The opposite of self-referral is object referral. In object referral, we are always influenced by objects outside the self, which includes situations, circumstances, people, and things. In object referral, we are constantly seeking the approval of others. Our thinking, our behavior are always in anticipation of a response. It is therefore fear-based. In object referral, we also feel an intense need to control things. We feel an intense need for external power. So in object referral, your internal reference point is your ego. The ego, however, is not who you really are. The ego is your self-image. It is your social mask. It is the role you are playing, and your social mask thrives on approval. It wants to control. It is sustained by power. It lives in fear. Your true self, which is your spirit, your soul, is completely free of those things. It is immune to criticism. It is unfearful of any challenge. It feels beneath no one, yet it is also humble and feels superior to no one, because it recognizes that everyone is the same self, the same spirit in different disguises. And I believe this wholeheartedly, and I've experienced different degrees of this in my life. I think it's easy to forget that we're all humans and we're all living on the same planet together, versus the idea, tap into the ego and this, idea that you're better than someone else because you have more money than them, or because you have a certain title. Like, all those things are of the ego, and, trying to exert yourself over other people versus coming from a place of just self. So he says, when you can get in tune with your true self and who you are, you come from that place, then you have real power. You won't be looking outside yourself for validation or for approval. Self power is permanent, he says. It is based on the knowledge of the self. It draws people to you, and it draws things you want to you. It magnetizes people, situations, and circumstances to support your desires. So he goes further. I hope that makes a lot of sense. The self-referral versus object referral. Like, that was very powerful for me. I think just in life in general, and like everything, and just posting photos on Instagram, or, interacting with different people in situations where, I might not know anyone. Like, I moved from a very powerful place when I have spent the time with myself, getting to know myself, and I am no longer looking for anyone else to validate me, to tell me who I am, or to, make me feel better about myself, because I know who I am. And I spend that time building and being intimate with myself, and I move from that place of knowing exactly who I am and what I stand for and what I want out of life and what my contribution is, versus coming into situations looking for other people to validate me via this or via that. And I think it's really powerful stuff. And he talks about, any power that you have now from the ego, beauty is gonna fade, youth fades, money fades, and and it's like, if you tie your identity to these external things, you're constantly gonna live in fear. He goes further, but he's like, no amount of money is going to heal that, because you're constantly gonna need that to feel whole, and you need to get whole now. And once you are whole now, and you can love yourself and feel at peace now, you'll start to attract, all the other things that you want in life. He says, in stillness, we are most powerful and closest to the source, and can manifest most powerfully. He uses the example, imagine throwing a stone into a still pond and you can see it ripple across. You know, it's still, you throw a stone, you've seen it. But he's like, if your mind is noisy, it's like a turbulent ocean. You could throw the Empire State Building into it and you wouldn't notice a thing. That makes a lot of sense. You're trying to manifest things, you're trying to change things, but your internal dialogue is so loud and so noisy, it's so hard to see solutions or creative thoughts or what you should do next. Versus if you're taking the time to get still and get quiet, it's easier for you to manifest those things, etc. Another tip to give is practicing non-judgment. When we're constantly evaluating, classifying, labeling, analyzing, you create a lot of turbulence in your internal dialogue. Non-judgment creates silence in your mind. And so go through your day not judging anything that occurs. It is a lot easier said than done, but I found it to be also something very powerful. So he says, access to your true essence will also give you the insight into the mirror of relationship, because all relationship is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. For example, if you have guilt, fear, or insecurity over money or success or anything, then these are reflections of guilt, fear, and insecurity as basic aspects of your personality. No amount of money or success will solve these basic problems of existence. Only intimacy with the self will bring about true healing. That's fire. So I think I said this a little earlier, just like, you got to get intimate with yourself. You got to spend the time with yourself. You got to get at peace with yourself. And then from there, you can start to heal yourself and any past trauma and things you've been through. And that is how you start to create change in your life. I'm doing this. I'm working on myself daily, constantly. And I have been pushing myself to spend more and more time meditating and just trying to get still and trying to understand like what kind of things I'm doing to hold myself back, you know, from the things that I want. And I see myself, you know, manifesting more and more things. Like, this is my new apartment. Like, I got a new apartment by myself, really dope. And it's something I've wanted for a little bit, and I was able to manifest it. And it's just, I think it's just the result of, you know, doing the work to get clear. And also, just for clarification, I think this is something that I think the secret leaves out, and that wasn't clear for me when I was kind of studying these things. Is just like, these are daily practices. This daily practice of meditation, something you need to do every day or do as much as you can. But also, it's just the start. Like, you still have to do the work, right? Like, whatever your work is, like, you know, you're getting clear. You want intuitive hits and ideas on how to change your life, but then you still got to take the action steps. You got to work that job or do, you know, create that project or do that actual idea, whatever it is that you want to do or you need to do. You need to start to actually do those things. But the getting still and the meditation helps you get clear on what you actually need to do. And it also helps you get out of your own way, because a lot of times we're the only person holding ourselves back and we don't even realize it. Like, we're the reason why we never did start writing that book, or why we never did actually post that video we wanted to post, because our head and our mind is running crazy and we're like, oh, no one's gonna like this and none of that. Like, that's the whole point of all of this, is like literally healing yourself so that you can start to move from a place where you start to do the things that you need to do and that you want to do, so that you can change your life and create the life that you want. As you gain more and more access to your true nature, you also spontaneously receive creative thoughts, because the field of potentiality is also the field of infinite creativity and pure knowledge. So that's in that the internal state of that pure consciousness is also a field of infinite creativity and pure knowledge. So as you come into that state of stillness, you'll start to get ideas and knowledge and inspiration and hits, intuition. People say that, you know, your intuition, that is God, that's your God essence, that is the universe basically telling you what you should do. And that voice gets louder and louder, clearer and clearer. You can clear all that noise out that's happening in your life. So all in all, I think this is a very powerful first chapter from Deepak, the Law of Potentiality, this idea of getting in tune with your true self, spending time in meditation, spending time in nature, non-judgment, moving from self-referral instead of object referral, instead of moving from the ego, this intimacy with the self and healing and getting into a powerful state where you can start to attract and manifest the things you want. I think this is powerful stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments, any questions. I love this stuff, so I would love to engage and see what you guys think of it. I am going to come back probably with chapter 2 and 3 next. We'll see. I'm gonna read them and see the best way. I'll see how you guys feel about this and figure out how to approach it next. Again, if you're new to my channel, please hit like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching the video. So much love and success to everybody. Peace.